Thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here, chatting to you a little bit about the moon. We have a new moon coming up in Scorpio on the 25th of October. So right now it's the 14th of October, so we have plenty of time to prepare. And the first thing is first is, how is your psyche? How is your mind? The sun is getting close to Psyche, the asteroid. The sun is very close to Mercury also, and we're heading towards the south node in the sky. And that means to me that there's going to be a lot of problems with us, with our family, with our projects, with our plans, if we don't quite yet have it together. So the first thing is safety, stability, caring for one another, and taking that part of you out of the game that wants to always improve and disrespect that which is, and want something outside of that which is now carefully helpful and carefully caring for you. So count your blessings, everybody. It's very, very important to get real. It's very, very nice to get safe and stable and to retain a certain level of balance and maybe confidence that comes from just understanding who you are and how you're doing and what your life is representing right now. So it's just about the miracle of safety and simplicity and just understanding the karmas that we have and leaving the rest behind. For example, okay, I now have this, I have this, I have that, but this I have to work on carefully and kindly, you know. So for example, I'm working with my body these days. I'm doing a lot of videos that are movement based. Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this, and this aspect of my body isn't yet working freely. And now I have to take care and put all that time and hope and effort into that little aspect that isn't yet aligned. So we have to be very, very kind here to one another. If you have a friend, please pay respect to your friend. If you have somebody else coming in and they're looking really cool and really smart and really, really helpful, this may not necessarily last as long as you believe. So we basically have to get humble and in on those details. We have to also close the books because Libra is the book. And Libra is coming to an end, of course, on the 21st, 22nd. So closing the books, what I mean is like no longer speculating, no longer thinking so much, no longer idealizing something that is not in your life, no longer wanting to be with somebody who's not there in your life, no longer asking the question that you know has no answer. So if you have things that are to no avail, if there is also a reputation about you or about what you're thinking or feeling or what you are going through, that is spreading throughout your friendship groups, especially very powerful, very close to heart people in your life. And maybe you are getting thumbs down for certain things that you are saying or that you're trying to do. Please understand them as well. And yes, for some people, for some reason, I am picking up that certain people will be moved on or moving on from certain parts of society or certain groups or just certain individuals. And then there are some that just have to really be careful and listen to what other people are saying. So this kind of depends on the actual original situation. So I'm not saying that you're one or the other, but there needs to be either heeding to that which another person is saying or doing, or just understanding that this is not the person that you want leading you in your life or helping you in your life. And yes, that means that there is a chance of separation or understanding that the book is closed. Also, in terms of family and friends and people falling apart, we don't want to make too much struggle here. So the miracle of the time that we're going through is a certain aspect of laziness or even sadness that can help us get rid of things slowly, maybe, but very cleanly and calmly in a very controlled and spacious sort of way. So you don't have to rush now. At the end of Libra time, as we go into Scorpio, there's going to be push. If you already are afraid of Scorpio, as I'm also a little bit intimidated by Scorpio time, if you are feeling a little bit uncomfortable or afraid as to what Scorpio might have in store for you, if you're holding your breath and you don't feel very good about how you're going, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your partnership, maybe it's your affairs, maybe it has something to do with money or trust or what is incoming and outgoing and how you are applying your power, how you're using your force and your strength in this dimension, please let go. So Libra is the wisest, most special, precious window to let go. Please also understand if you just don't need, maybe some people don't need to invest so much time in certain things. Maybe your teacher or maybe your guru or guide has outgrown your situation, or you have outgrown them, or you don't need each other so much anymore. You don't want to talk about the same things. So it's very, very good not to be in this conversation anymore for some of us, not to have to keep on going with the same person or people, and also not having to do this in a very mean or abrupt way while Libra is holding everything together. So Libra, by the end of its sign, is trying to basically mature things and subtly suggest, correct, hint, or get to know things. If you are a little bit ecstatic and erratic during this time, also during this particular year, it's kind of, sort of, kind of like supported. So there is a way in which things can shine, and even if you don't have your full consciousness or your full poise, that will be understood in a tiger year, because as I've said, mistakes in a tiger year, or maybe not having enough poise or not having any control over oneself can slide. But there's going to be a way in which you will be blocked from certain people and places, and you will be given another direction. That I feel, for me, as for many other people, could be quite joyful. You know, suddenly understanding that you are a specialist in some way, or your energy or your plane of consciousness is specified for a certain group or a category. And for certain people, it's very hard. But you see, if you really respect yourself and you resonate with yourself, where you've been put by other people's minds or by media or algorithms online or anything like that, where you are is kind of okay, you know what I mean? So like for some people, it's going to be very, very hard to admit that they fit into a certain context, especially socially, societally, or if they want to be somewhere else and suddenly they understand that they can't go that way, they can only be within a certain type of boundary. They can be very, very harmful to the psyche if you don't like where you've been placed by the end of Libra. So when Libra balances everything out, and it kind of does this and then eventually comes to a standstill by the end of its sign, you might get a certain type of consciousness or person or presence, in a sense, giving you a hint as to where you should be. So for example, for me, what I'm doing is I'm watching the algorithms on my new channel. So I've just recently made a new channel. Also, I have a Spotify with my music. And I'm noticing which songs are floating up to the top. So which of my songs people like more, or which album has made the most impression on other people. Also, like understanding your statistics. If you don't want to look at statistics, I totally understand. I'm very soft in the heart. I also don't want to know sometimes. But it is very good to look at the numbers. What is generating more for you, more interest? If you are called to do something by the people, what is it? So like, for example, recently I'm working more with women, so doing singing and dancing for women. And I've been called to do that by other people. So maybe that's also a practice that I should learn more about. So for example, if you have a certain customer base, you have a show of hands, or like certain videos, a certain medium is getting more results. You know, if you have a Facebook page or Twitter or YouTube, anything like that, you've got to notice what the global overall is saying about you and where you've been put. And yeah, it is not very healing or safe for some of us. So if you've been put into certain, this is interesting, if you've been put into a certain design or a certain destiny by other people, so sorry, there's lots of mosquitoes around today. If you've been put into a certain design or a destiny by other people, or you've been put to work, or you've been made to achieve something that you don't probably actually want to be a part of, and you're saying, look, I don't want to do this. And especially if it's a cycle and it's happened in your family before, it's happened to you, and you're like, look, this again, I'm not doing this again. Now it's really important that you close down quite a lot. So for example, finding yourself next to a person that you don't want to be with, or being in a job where you remind yourself of your mother or of your family, and understanding it's not something you want to do for work, being put into any kind of societal, social, or relationship or friendship context and going, look, this, I don't want this. And it might be repetition, so watch out for patterns. For example, my mother was an immigrant and I am too. That's a pattern. For example, my father did a lot of hard work for other people and got very little money for it, and I am too. Understand that as a pattern. For example, I've been poked at and I've been ushered as a person that doesn't know anything, just like I was as a teenager. Realize it, that's a pattern. So all of these patterns and programs, you don't have to play the game that Libra has set up for you. But if you are going to change this and you're saying, no, I'm not participating in this, I can't do this anymore. You see, it's not about just you saying no. At this point in Sagittarius, there's a little bit more space to do that. Eventually, as we go into Sag at the end of November. But right now, it's more about just understanding the structure and the alchemy and the algorithms that it took to produce your specific natural reality. So nothing is just because, nothing just manifests, nothing is just like, and here you are doing this. Most things take ages, even decades, for us to achieve, and a lot of it is a pattern much larger than that. It could be a historical pattern. If we look at the seed as to why you are here or why you are doing what you're doing, it might have actually taken thousands of years of cause and effect to organize. And that's where we have to have some surgery. So Scorpio, I don't want to scare you. I don't like the word surgery either. So like Scorpio is a very, very knowing sign for surgery, surgical procedures, doing things completely the opposite way to how I suppose I would do them or how nature does them, is step by step and unraveling things like slowly. So here's you just have a few hours to do the surgery, usually any surgery. So you cut things open and you open up the body and you pull things out and you change things around. This is probably not exactly how it happens. There's probably quite a lot more involved than this, but that's the basis of it. Surgical procedures and having sudden upheavals and volcanical positive and also nasty things happen. That's all coming up if you haven't integrated your past, present, and future in Libra. Libra is like the Akashic record for me. Libra is the bookkeeper. If you get what I mean, so like things are all drawn out and you're getting a really good timeline. Virgo is before Libra, you know, it's very meticulous, 12th house before Libra. It's very good at the details. It knows what everything is about. It knows how to order things and organize things. Then if you don't feel happy and lucky in this position, if you really don't want the future that you are paving for yourself, if you have no respect for anybody in the story, there's nothing you can do with your ego or with your time to improve on things. Yes, you see bad things happen, but not just bad, upheavals happen. Sometimes people need somebody else to mind them. If you have ongoing psyche issues, you have to get off your high horse. So that's the thing that is happening here in my life. Also understanding if there's a certain type of preoccupation and a predominance of something in your energy. So for example, if you're really obsessed about something, if you want to get a result, if there's something in your body is not working, if your mind is going crazy, going nuts, or anything like that, and it's surfacing now by the end of Libra, this is where we have to get the golden egg, the golden middle, the Fibonacci sequence, or whatever you imagine, like the golden ratio. If you don't want to do, like, really don't take this information lightly, like this is important. If you don't want to do that which you have been put to do, it would take probably sometimes years to change, or you can employ somebody to help you, or you can go as far as I've gone recently and incorporated certain type of movement techniques and meditation techniques and things to really pray myself out of the previous places where life has put me. So also previous karmas do get destroyed and disjointed during Scorpio anyway, if your will is high enough, but it is not it's not sustainable for us, you know, really. Like if you think about it, like losing everything to gain that one thing. So this is where like I have to like be very, very careful also as to how I advise you. If you are really brutal with yourself, if you have a lot of flame and fire, or you feel very vulnerable or vulnerabilized by this time as you're in right now, please try to be happy with what you have. That's the thing. Be happy with what you have. But if you definitely do want to change your destiny, and you're not fulfilled and you're crying and it's actually very, very hard to be yourself, please understand if it's true. Okay, sometimes people just have patterns. Just like Libra brings our gaze to the patterns, you know, the technology of pattern. If you've been brought up to cry or to show disrespect, or if you are constantly saying no to your reality, understanding the Luciferian aspect of Venus. So I already talked about this a lot in the previous videos about how Venus is like, I want this, I want that, I want more. No, fluff this, I don't want any of this, I want greater heights for myself. So sometimes there is like a Venetian quality to a person. If you have a very high voltage Venus in your chart, also understand asking questions, not wanting what mommy or daddy is providing is provided, wanting much more than other people can manage, wishing to have more than other can have. So this Luciferian energy of wanting to be higher than and mightier than other people, and wanting a reality way beyond that which you can now achieve. You have to really force yourself to calm down. That's the thing. Although, in a good way, I have to say, Venus has been developing us if we haven't really had enough. So, for example, a person that doesn't eat enough and has, like, I don't know, dystrophy or anorexia might want to eat more because Venus is next to the sun and Venus is asking for more. If you, for example, are chronically, clinically depressed and know that you are, there will be a question to Venus asking, what can I do to not be so depressed now? What can I do to be joyful? So there is a wonderful way to gain wealth and gain power and gain respect and gain possibility and opportunity out of this Venus-Sun conjunction. But you see, it's not about being a crybaby about it. It's about noticing if there is an actual gap, you know, this is empty, like, you know, wow, I have nothing here, or like, wow, I've worked for 5 hours and I only got like $20 for my time, you know, or like, I didn't even get any money for this, or like, my gosh, my heart goes out and then I don't get any answers. So if you have definite neglect of yourself specifically, or if you have a definite downside to your reality, somewhat, yeah, it can be changed, even by just insight, praying things in, asking God to help you, or asking somebody to forgive you. But there is no point of making it a pattern. So, like, having to say sorry all the time, I know some people have that as a pattern as well, but never mind. I'm trying to explain how to change the formula if you're not wanting the golden mean that has been set for you now. And the reason why I'm also saying this is because as I'm becoming brighter, my solar return is on the 16th of October in 2 days. I've also recognized and realized where I have been giving very little to myself, and I haven't actually been able to compute that I was under when I was meant to be over, or I couldn't understand my mastery for such a long time, or the truth about my soul. As it's now coming into a more radical perspective for me. And then also knowing that was way back when, probably in my ancestry, that this pattern has started. So as you become very conscious of yourself, you know, and as you become more aware of your truths and your actual real wants and needs and your real passions and your real states of inspiration, yeah, sometimes they can block off a whole bunch of things you have previously designed for yourself. So that's the way that I'm doing it here during this time. So going directly towards a greater self-discovery, as I do have a birthday in this time. And then this self-discovery has gelled me or jammed me so much more into myself, into my soul, that all of these things that I have created as part of my previous planning or my previous prosaic thinking patterns have started to fade away. So that's certainly a way to do it. If you find yourself a new truth and a certainty that you know you feel, and that is inside, sometimes a lot of these previous patterns can just be blown out the window. It can all go out the window, but be very, very healthy with this. So this is like when, for example, you meet a new person and your partnership goes out the window, or when you decide that you are this or that, and then everything else that you've ever done means nothing. So this is a very important thing also for me, now to retain everything that I've got, so that I'm not just fluffing everything away because I didn't really fully have the chance to self-understand early in my life. So that's also another thing to be talking about and to be spoken of. Self-connection and self-gratification and understanding that happens in Scorpio anyway. So this is a sign of maturity and coming to a nice ripe age, or a really nice ripe state, no matter how old you are. So as a sign, Scorpio brings about the question of who you are as a brewed up system of all that was and all that will ever be. So it's like that sparkle, or that amazing shine that sometimes Scorpio brings about isn't just about doing that hard deed and eventually becoming a master from practice, or doing things too much. It's not just about that. It's actually more about recognizing what is that karmic seed in the way that puts you into this reality, or what is this out of body emotionality, or like this intensity, or this animal that is even beyond your own comprehension. So we're going into the ultra shamanic vibrations and the biggest place that a human can be here. So we are asking of you this anyway. During a tiger year, people are asked to step up and show their real energy, and maybe sometimes it is real anger and real thirst or real lust first before that real organic energy comes through. But I feel that for maybe a lot of people that listen to my channel, that is not maybe where they're at, because you must be very patient to be able to listen to my videos for such a long time. So I would suggest that if you are usually very kind of soft and passive, and you don't really care about yourself sometimes, if you self-neglect or you take too much time, as sometimes I've done in my life as well. The idea basically, or the karma with Scorpio, is to avoid conflict and to cultivate that fire within. So also people that have a lot of vata or kapha, and they don't have enough pitta, or they just don't feel any shininess or any fire or any flame inside of themselves, it's very, very good time to listen to yourself, listen to your psyche, and not let it just like fizzle out in Libra. Because if you're getting angry in Libra, and if you're getting a lot of spark and like a lot of fizzle and a lot of neurotic activity, as I'm picking up a lot of people probably would this year around, you might not have enough sturdy, good, boiling fire for Scorpio. So if you can imagine, Scorpio in a way is kind of like an oven to me. So Scorpio is also the reproductive system. Yes, you could also compare it to the womb if you really want to. You can do that. So it's kind of like a really nice emulsifying, turning, boiling flame that keeps on perpetually moving. So this is like the space of power, the space of Kundalini, all of this kind of like Shakti energy, all of this raw animal or like raw ancestral understanding of who you are. And we basically want to power that engine without you doing silly things, you know. So like, for example, instead of having a fight with your friend, just use this energy for your own self-knowledge. You know, instead of like having a lot of sensual or sexual contact or putting your energy around the place, you just basically cultivate it within yourself with respect and with maturity. So it's about spending your money wisely. If we really want to take the most out of this new moon in Scorpio, very close to Haumea. Haumea is the planet of children, childhood. If you really want to take the most out of Scorpio new moon, very close to Venus, obviously, pretty much conjunct, you got to basically understand how this energy works. If you can imagine, it's an emulsion. It's like the core of the planet inside of your soul. And you don't want to just splash it out. So like silly games, calling people up, hatred, jealousy, vulnerability, envy, silliness, saying something to somebody, then saying something else to somebody else, you know, all of these little stereotypes, you know, whispering something in somebody's ear, then they whisper something to somebody else's ear, all this grapevine. You see, you're going to get nothing for that. So this is the thing. It's like God is giving you, like imagine millions of dollars of energy or of like good karma. If you have been nice, calm, and patient during the end of Libra, and if you've been just patient, seriously patient and kind and caring and not vulturous, not asking too many questions, not pushing anybody, if you've been just nice and simple in Libra. And Scorpio, some people might be suddenly energetic millionaires, or actually I can see a lot of people also benefiting, and this could be so many different ways, winning things over, winning things, winning, yeah, winning, Charlie Sheen style, maybe not, but you know, like winning. So if you're not yet feeling like the winner, the idea is basically to become more patient with that. And then eventually, some of what Scorpio might have in mind will astound you, as Moon next to Venus always has a slightly like astounding, sort of like epic unpackaging quality, especially in Scorpio. So this is going to be like, wow, I thought inside of this was just nothing, and I opened it and there was the world. So also understand, for example, working with physical practice. If you like, check out my other channel. I'm going to be working with my neck during this time, maybe, and flexibility in my spine. Sometimes you unlock something very small in your body and it basically just gushes all of this color into your whole form. So that's what I'm interested in finding more out during this time. So maybe there is something else for you. So this is like unpacking things. Here was a little package. I opened it up and inside was the world. It's like the Pandora's box opens. If you have suddenly, you know, conceived a child, this is one of those things. If you have suddenly made a really amazing business plan that works for itself, if you got passive income, or if you just broke free, or you got famous, or if all of this talking, all of this love, all of this doing, hiking, I don't know, gardening, organizing has finally brought you something, there will be something for quite a lot of us. But the idea is not to get angry and gallop away before it happens. So it's like saying no, no, no to life, and then life just kind of gives you a little like slap on the behind and ushers you away, and you go. So there's quite a lot of rumors also about us. This is something that I'd like to say. There is something that is going to be very toxic and very emotional. We've got Make, the mother planet in Libra. We've got Eros, sensuality in Libra. We've got Psyche and Libra, Mercury and Libra. People want to talk about each other. So before, it was really good conversation, was very well guided, right? So I talked a lot about having friends over and just like resolving old ancestral karmic issues just by talking things out. And sometimes a little hint from a friend could bring you so much. When we go into Scorpio, Libra is the 12th house to Scorpio. So Libra is left behind, and all of that chatting to you to your face might become somebody saying something behind your back, or saying something to somebody, to somebody, to somebody who knows you, that eventually comes back to you. Or yes, in some cases, ratings can go down. Coming back to statistics, money that you've been receiving from a certain clientele might drop off completely. Somebody might just fully ghost you or disappear, or there's a ghosting of you not wanting to be somewhere or not being able to be somewhere. Like, I went and I thought I'd catch the plane, but the plane didn't lift off, and or like it did, and then I don't know, like I was stranded at the airport, and then I thought I'd go another direction, or like that God wanted me to do something else. Like ghosting, disappearing, also things disappearing. Yes, it can actually be kind of good when things disappear, like a previous thought form or pattern disappears. Guide and lock away your valuables. Yeah, valuables like your computers, your laptops, your phones, your keys, your heart for some people, seriously. I don't want to be too intense there, but like sometimes, you know, you don't want to like leave things lying around. If you're somebody who likes to gaze at things and just like spend your money and just, you know, sure, like please have it. It's not one of those times. It's not about theft or robbery, but it could be. Also, there's quite a lot of people looking at you in the way that you probably didn't expect yourself to be looked at, which is usually what happens, is the trauma with Scorpio time. I didn't expect that person really hated me. Like, wow, really? Did she say that about me? Wow, that's so sad. Or people might get scared, or they might feel very wrong. So my advice, you know, for most people that are ready, just to leave it behind. You found out somebody talked about you, don't remember them. That's it, it's done, it's finished. Because we are in a fixed sign of Scorpio, but where is your Christian heart? You know, that's the question mark. I don't have that. So like the question, I'm an astrologer. You know, so the question is like, okay, fixed sign Scorpio, right? The rumors are true. Okay, fixed sign Scorpio. what it does basically is it puts things into a certain type of space where they don't necessarily repeat, but they become solid. If you have respected somebody that now has no respect for you, or you have seriously experienced disregard leading up to the new moon in Scorpio, or even after the new moon in Scorpio, as we go through Scorpio, don't tell it another thing. Like, okay, that person went ahead and did this, or like, I found out that this happened, or like this whole thing just collapsed. The better thing to do is to walk out. In a way, Scorpio grants you freedom also in the first few degrees of Scorpio. So Libra is weighing things up, and then eventually some things just go pop. Like that person disappeared, or like, wow, the guy like took my money and left, or like, wow, this person never really actually was that nice to me. I didn't even know what they were even thinking. Wow, I heard a rumor and it came from my best friend. Wow, I didn't expect that. This stuff is golden to me. So as a Libra, I find this very, very, actually very, very good. If you have somebody or something happen in your life where you are disregarded or left behind, or there is a grapevine effect and everybody's talking negatively or badly, especially if you know the source, which person it was that said the first thing, leave it. So this is not where you go back and forth with the text messages. This is not where you're asking, why? Aren't you human? Why? How come you did? Just let it go. We can't make any more there, especially during a tiger year. We're coming up to a very pacifying spiritual self node. So it's like, okay, I'm in limbo, I'm hovering. So this whole month of November eventually is going to be very sad if you're running around trying to understand all those split ends in your life. Like, what happened? What happened? What did she say? What did he say? Why did they fire me? Oh my gosh, what's happening to me? If you're calling people, why? What happened? You're not going to get anything. You're just going to be in limbo, and it can start to change only later on in your life. So this means you could be in this limbo, in this soup, just hovering around, not knowing what happened to you for like a good 2 or 3 years. Now, we don't want to make that happen. We want to make it stop. So the whole thing is to hold your kundalini, right? Hold your power and all of this amazing lava, all of this amazing fire that you're making by the end of Libra, and just not spend it. Same with money, same with fake friends, same with compliments, same with hugging friends you don't want to hug, being with people you don't want to be with, trying to mend a relationship, trying to make nice. So the previous rules don't necessarily have to apply. So maybe for some of us during Virgo and Libra, it was about shaking hands and making nice. At the moment, it's just like, hold on. So it's like, hold on to your power bank, hold on to your money, hold on to your insights. If you have any amazing ideas, register them today. Get copyright. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm getting a little dry. I'm so sorry. Like, for some people, I'm sure, get copyright, get ownership. Okay, lock up your finances. If you're spending a lot, get a certain type of lock on your card. Get a new password for your phone. Get many new passwords. I'm using a antivirus thing on my computer and on my website as well. Please understand, like, antivirus software can save your ass, can save you a lot of time, can save you your money, can save you your sanity. So antivirus, if you wanted to, can also be a little bit of like a better friend, and show, respect and kindness as well to a person that you think is too full on with that. That could also teach you something if you are seeing that some friends are like preparing for Armageddon and you don't usually necessarily like that about them. Like, also respect it, like try to respect it. Also, people that, I know it sounds a little dry, if you don't have it enough in your body, if you don't have enough maturity, if you don't have enough of a warrior in your body, make sure you're friends with people that are actually clear and creative and conscious and karma free. Also, that are not like annoying you and doing this, as well. So like people that know how to get up in the morning, that know how to do their job, that know how to generate a good income, that are free, that are loving, that are healthy. Get more healthy people involved in your life. So this is not just it. It's more about growing in your conclusions. So here is the thing. Some of it might sound a little terrible. We have to rub shoulders or get invited into just higher frequencies. There is no point of sitting there crying about your best friend saying something bad about you. So we don't have to have those moments. This is it basically, guys, initiation time. We don't have that much time in Tiger. So we have Scorpio, Sag, and a little bit of Capricorn to get our stuff out there, to speak what we want to speak of, to be real, to be maybe sometimes angry, to be powerful, to be intense, to be strong, to be brave, to be even scary sometimes for other people. And then we have a drop off, and eventually by Aquarius we're just sitting there like nanas, you know, sipping tea and talking about the past. Now we don't have that much energy also for others because we want to get our own things across. It's like, you know, when you have a child, for example, when you have a kid and you just want them to be number one, or like you have a business and you want it to be number one, you don't think about what other people are going through, what they're thinking. Sometimes it's that passion that gets you there. And don't be afraid of those soccer moms or whatever, you know, those women or men, you know, that take their children to the games, and then they like cheer and they go crazy because, you know, they're really they're very interested in their child winning. They're really interested. That's how people show their support. So that warrior, that obsessor, or that person that really wants to get ahead is what you need. So if you have a problem with that, if you have trouble with that, please understand where your soul is at. So if you have too much kapha, if you got too much vata, or if your pitta is undernourished, it's really important just to see it now. Like, okay, people are just like sitting like this, you know, well, this is Tiger year. Tiger year is probably that time where you got it. It's like win. You have to win now. And if you don't want to win, also if you're afraid of winning, and you think, for example, I don't want to go to the gym because everybody's staring at me, I'm scared of what people's saying. Now, this is really important that you notice this about you. So that means you are immature in some way. If you're thinking about what other people are saying, it's a weakness. So you have to understand your immaturity, your own concepts that are not significant or mature enough yet. If you're still thinking, oh, what is that guy saying? Or what is this girl saying? If you're thinking somebody else has power over you, controls you, you're not together. So that means that all of this energy basically goes out the window. It goes into nothing. You know, it just disappears. And what we have to do basically here is understand that. And some of the time, we won't be able to be there for you. And this is like a little bit of a thing about being left behind, not having enough friendships, or not feeling adequate, or not feeling supported, is not because you are not worthy necessarily. It's just very hard because everybody's cheering for their team. Everybody's starting to now cheer for their tribe. Everybody's getting like maybe even a bit egoic or aggressive or like possessive about having their truth be told or their results. And that's a normal, natural sign of a certain type of competition that does happen, especially during Scorpio, in a tribal, epic and good Tiger year. You know, so sometimes it can't happen any other way. So politeness and being kind of in the shadow sometimes brews a monster. You know, being like, thank you, okay, you know, and not actually saying anything that you're feeling, and you knowing that you are understanding, that's really difficult. If you want, you can tell us. You know, if you're really, really hateful, okay, this is not what the new moon is about. The new moon is about cultivation of enough energy, kundalini, shakti, yeah, enough fire in you to be able to last you your life. So it's about having maturity, it's about having purpose, it's about having good self-esteem, it's about having a healthy egoism that is to do with maybe peace and beauty and all of those beautiful things. But it's not just about giving up and like peace and beauty, all these beautiful things. You have to feel not necessarily the animal, you have to see like, this is interesting, the divine aspects of yourself, not just being like, oh, okay, the divine aspects of yourself being needed now. So it's like being the warrior, you know. And if we don't respect those parts of ourselves or society or other people, if we don't respect the warrior spirit, if we don't respect maturity, if we don't respect tribalism, if we don't respect strength, we start to fade out. And infantilism is not something anybody's just gonna like wait for if they're in their right psyche. So we also have to say that it's fine if you have finally found a way to leave something out that was infantile in your life. So that means your relationship with your mother or your father or your teacher or your brother or your ex-lover or anybody. If you found out that you have been weak and put back and disjointed, if you've just now discovering that you had something you thought as a wealth that is actually a weakness, or you found out that your previous state of spirituality were infantile or just not non-existent, it's very, very good time to speak about it also. And if you actually found out that you have a treasure where you thought was nothing, it's also good to speak about it. So I once thought this was amazing, and now I understand I was weak, or it was below me. Or I have had this and I never even thought it was a strength, or I never thought anything of it until this year. That's also incredible. So understanding new truths, and this like new tilting of consciousness is happening. So like tilting your universe and helping it go the way that it should have gone for thousands of years, for such a long time, just by understanding things a little bit better now and coming to a more raw and like hard, you know, strong way of understanding your body, mind and spirit, and also the universe at large, and not wasting any time on money, not wasting any talk, not making any fluff, basically. So that's the only thing I guess I can really say here at the end. This is like a very long video, obviously. And yes, also Pluto is aspecting this stellium in the sky as well throughout this time. So we have to be very, very careful with our impulse. Like totally, like I'm serious, like save it. Like to me, it feels like save it. Money, don't spend it. Words, don't take your words out if they mean nothing. If that's just fluff, you know. Don't promise anything you can't do. You know, don't mean anything by that which doesn't mean anything. What is that which you feel the most for? And then eventually finding success is within the real, believable, and relevant principles that are now obvious, and they should have always been. So the reality now should now here be obvious as to where you find yourself, find your light, or where your partner is, or who you were, who you are. It's really obvious, and you basically just close the books. So that was it. Thank you so much, you guys. Please have a look at my other channel. I know that it's not maybe what you've expected of me, but I think that's probably the better. That's my best at the moment. That's my best life. I'm basically going to be sharing mantras, music videos, also shamanic singing. I'm going to be sharing tantric practice, tantric movement practice. Nothing seedy, nothing shady, just like knowing how to use the body properly, basically, and all of these different insights and understandings on that channel. And this one is just solidly for astrology and psychic work. So yes, this is the day and night. So thank you so much, everybody. Also have a look at my recent book, Year of the Water Rabbit 2023, if you want to get ahead next year. And yes, also, just really quickly, Tiger year is already starting to close down onto Rabbit. It's already starting to take some of the hues of Rabbit. So not wanting to really splash things out, not wanting to say things out loud, not wanting to include some people that you might feel a little weird or wacky, or not wanting a certain path and wanting to be clean, like wanting to just wanting to be clean as part of Rabbit now. So that's already been happening to me since Virgo. So consider that little bit of fussiness or the idealism coming into the body and into the global collective. So anyway, thank you very much. Enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.